Alright, first I just need to make sure that you're okay for this to be filmed and uploaded.
Yep.
So the aim of the test is to see if agility is related to the timing of decision making when saving penalty shots in soccer. We're going to do this by measuring the time taken to complete a single rapid change of direction over a short course. So I'll walk you through it. So you start from this marker here. You run all the way up to the marker at the end, so up here. You're going to place your foot over past the marker on the other side, turn and sprint back to the end. Now, I'm only going to be recording the time from when you pass this middle section and then back through once you pass here. So you're going to aim to sprint the whole distance, but I'll only be timing this 5 metre section up and back. Cool. That all makes sense? Yeah. Okay. So we'll do one trial turning on your left leg and then one trial turning on your right leg. Yeah. So one going each way. And then a 2-minute recovery in between.
So as you can see here, it's 15 metres in total length, 10 metres up to the first marker, and then 5 metres to the last one. The distance that I am measuring and taking the time from is between that last 5 metres up and back, and the first 10 metres is not recorded.
Whenever you're ready, start, and I'll start timing as you run through.
Looking at the footage now, I also should have been in line with that middle red marker when measuring the time.
And now with the other foot. Whenever you're ready. This one's a goal kicking task designed to assess your anticipation. So it's normally used to assess skilled goalkeepers. So I'll be kicking the soccer ball either to your left or right. And I just need you to make your best attempt to stop each one. In some cases there will be a deception as to which way the ball is going as well. Yeah, so we'll just use the middle section of the goals, and you can have a few attempts to make sure you're comfortable and everything, so you can have a few trials. And then there'll be 8 trials that we'll measure, and just do your best to try and save each one.
So these distances weren't measured out precisely on the day, but ideally when doing this properly, the soccer goal should be 7.33 metres in width, and the ball should be placed at midpoint 11 metres away. The kick of the ball should also not go over 1 metre high. The trials that say deception, I used this by looking in one direction and actually kicking in the other. I will mention as well that obviously the participant being used is not a skilled goalkeeper.
So, your results from the agility test. With your right foot was 3.09 seconds. With your left foot was 2.96 seconds. So that sits a little bit above the average found by Coombs and Skinner, which was 2.18 to 2.59 seconds, so just a little bit above that. And then in the goalkeeper test, you had 2 saves. And I'll work out your decision time scores and anticipation later.
So the participant had 2 saves and an average decision-making time of negative 55 milliseconds. It is interesting to note that in the 2 saves that they did have, the decision-making time in these was positive, whereas the decision-making time in each of the other attempts were negative. These trials where the participant made saves were also normal trials and had no deception, so they anticipated which direction the ball was going in based on which way I was looking. So these results are below the 160 milliseconds that was found to be the normal decision time for skilled goalkeepers. However, it must be noted that this was where the ball had an average flight time of 600 milliseconds, and it was calculated in our testing that the ball had an average flight time of 705 milliseconds. On the day of testing, it was assumed that these results would be below the normal data, and therefore feedback was given accordingly.
Let's assume that it was below the 160 milliseconds that was found to be the normal decision time for skilled goalkeepers. And this is assuming that the ball has an average flight time of 600 milliseconds. So in order to improve these results, based on the findings in ecological psychology, the best thing to do would be to improve your anticipation. And this is ideally done by ensuring representative design in your training. So making sure that training sessions are as close to game situation as possible. This will help to increase the transfer of performance to game day and game situations, as well as your ability to read ball flight information and better calibrate your movements to depending on what the ball is doing in the air.
Yep. Makes sense.
Cool.